A man, still broken from losing the love of his life, guns his old car through sheets of pouring rain. He spots her, his ex-wife, walking down the street, radiant, pregnant, dressed in clothes he could never afford. Rage blinds him. He doesn't know she's married to a billionaire. He doesn't know the baby is his. All he feels is betrayal. He swerves just close enough to a massive puddle, and a wave of thick, filthy mud explodes over her, coating her from head to toe. She stands there, stunned, dripping, as he speeds away. Little does he know that one reckless second is about to shatter both their worlds and force every buried truth to the surface. Alex gripped the steering wheel tighter, knuckles white, as rain hammered his windshield. 6 months since the divorce papers landed on his table. 6 months since Elena walked out without a real explanation. He worked 16-hour days at the auto shop just to keep the lights on in his cramped apartment. The same apartment that still smelled faintly of her vanilla perfume on the pillows he couldn't bring himself to wash. He remembered the day they met like it was yesterday. College cafe, storm outside. She was shivering under a thin jacket. He offered his umbrella without thinking. She smiled, the kind of smile that made the world quieter. Dates turned into late-night drives, whispered promises, a small wedding in the park with fairy lights and secondhand chairs. They were supposed to build a life together. But his job ate his time. Her dreams felt bigger than their bank account, and arguments turned into silence. Then one day, she was gone. Tonight, the city streets blurred past until he saw her. Elena, walking alone, one hand resting protectively on her rounded belly, designer coat open just enough to show the glow of impending motherhood. His chest caved in. So soon? With who? The questions burned hotter than the anger that followed. Without thinking, he pressed the accelerator. The truck hit the puddle hard. Mud flew in a perfect arc, drenching her completely. He caught her shocked scream in the rearview mirror before vanishing around the corner. Elena stood frozen on the sidewalk, mud sliding down her face, mixing with rain and something that felt dangerously like tears. Her expensive coat was ruined, her hair plastered to her cheeks, but none of that mattered. She knew that truck. She knew the silhouette behind the wheel. Alex. After everything, he had done this on purpose. Her hand trembled over her belly. Their baby kicked, as if sensing her distress. She made it home to the sprawling mansion that still felt foreign, even after months of living there. Marcus was waiting, concern immediate when he saw her state. He wrapped her in a warm towel, called for staff to draw a bath, promised to find whoever did this. But Elena stopped him. "I know who it was," she whispered. Marcus paused, searching her face. He had fallen for her hard and fast after running into her at a charity event post-divorce. He knew about Alex, knew about the pain, but he didn't know the full truth about the baby. Not yet. Back in his apartment, Alex slammed the door, chest heaving. The image of her covered in mud brought a twisted satisfaction for exactly 3 seconds before guilt crashed in. What if she fell? What if the baby? He cut the thought off. Not his problem. She left him. She moved on, clearly upward. But sleep wouldn't come. Old photos on his phone haunted him. Elena laughing on the beach, her head on his shoulder as they painted the nursery they never finished. He threw the phone across the room. Days blurred. Alex couldn't focus at work, dropped tools, snapped at customers. Elena, meanwhile, stared at the forwarded bouquet that arrived at her old address. White roses with a card that simply read, "Sorry for the mess. Still care." No name, but she knew. Marcus saw the flowers too, noticed the way her fingers lingered on the petals. He didn't push, just held her that night as she cried silently. Alex dug deeper online, heart-stopping when he found recent photos. Elena on the arm of Marcus Vanderbilt, tech billionaire, at galas and premieres. Married. The ring on her finger in one photo was worth more than Alex made in a year. Pregnant with what the tabloids assumed was Vanderbilt's heir. The betrayal felt fresh all over again. But something didn't add up. The timeline. They divorced 6 months ago. She was at least 7 months along. Elena couldn't hide it anymore. One evening, as Marcus worked late, she sat in the nursery he had designed, soft grays and whites, everything perfect, and touched her belly. "Your daddy thinks I betrayed him," she told the baby. but he was never there when I needed him. I was scared we'd never make it. Tears fell. She had reconnected with Marcus right after the split. Someone stable, someone who could give their child everything. But stability felt cold compared to the fire she once had with Alex. Alex showed up at the mansion gates one rainy night, soaked, buzzing the intercom until security threatened to call the police. Elena watched him on the camera feed, heart pounding. Against every logical voice in her head, she grabbed an umbrella and went out to meet him. They stood under the downpour, just like the day they met. "How could you?" she shouted first, voice breaking. "After everything, you do that to me? To us?" Alex's anger crumbled at the sight of her up close, belly prominent, eyes fierce and hurt. "You left me, Elena. Moved on to some rich guy. Got pregnant so fast. How was I supposed to feel?" His voice cracked. She stepped closer, rain mixing with tears. "You think I cheated? The baby is yours, Alex. Yours. I found out right before I left. I didn't tell you because you were always gone, always working, and I was terrified we'd raise a child struggling like we were." The words hung between them like thunder. Alex dropped to his knees in the mud, rain streaming down his face. "Mine." His voice was barely audible. "I splashed. I hurt our baby." Horror and regret consumed him. He reached out, hand hovering over her belly, afraid to touch. "I'm so sorry. For everything. For not being there. For tonight." Elena looked down at him, the man she had loved so fiercely, now broken before her. "Too much has changed," she said softly, stepping back. "Go home, Alex." She turned and walked away, umbrella forgotten, letting the rain wash over her as he stayed kneeling in the mud, watching the gates close. The gates closed behind her with a heavy clang, leaving Alex on his knees in the pouring rain. Water soaked through his clothes, but the cold couldn't touch the fire igniting inside him. The baby was his. Their baby. Every wasted day, every missed chance, every argument flashed through his mind. He stood slowly, mud dripping from his hands, and made a silent vow. He would become the man she deserved, the father their child needed, no matter what it took. Alex quit the auto shop the next morning. He walked out mid-shift, ignoring his boss's shouts, and enrolled in night classes for business management. Days became a grind of determination. He launched a small mobile car detailing service, working dawn to dusk under the sun or in garages, saving every penny. He volunteered at a community center for expectant parents, learning everything from diaper changes to breathing techniques, facing the fears his own absent father had left behind. Elena watched from afar at first, through private updates from a mutual friend. She saw the changes in Alex, the exhaustion in his eyes turning to purpose, the way he posted subtle updates about building something real. Her nights in the mansion grew lonelier. Marcus was kind, attentive, traveling for deals, but always calling. Yet his touch felt safe, not electric. She craved the chaos of Alex's passion, the way he once looked at her like she was his entire world. Marcus noticed the distance. One quiet evening, as Elena rubbed her aching back on the balcony overlooking the city lights, he joined her with 2 mugs of herbal tea. "You're thinking about him again," he said softly, no accusation in his voice. Elena's eyes filled instantly. She confessed everything. The confrontation, the lingering love, the guilt over choosing security over soul. Marcus listened, then pulled her close. "I fell in love with your heart, Elena. If it belongs elsewhere, I won't chain it here. Go find out what you truly want. I'll be okay." Paparazzi caught Alex lingering near the mansion one afternoon, hoping for a glimpse. Headlines exploded overnight. Billionaire's pregnant wife reunites with ex in muddy drama. Rumors swirled about infidelity, timelines dissected online. Elena's name trended, strangers judging her choices. She attended a prenatal class alone, surrounded by glowing couples, feeling the weight of whispers. That night, she finally mailed the letter she'd written weeks ago. It didn't just splash mud. "You splashed truth on everything I was hiding behind. I never stopped loving the real us." Alex received it at his tiny new office above a garage. His hand shook reading her words. He responded immediately. A package arrived at the mansion days later. Inside, a handmade wooden mobile car from the leftover oak of their old, unfinished crib, baby books annotated with his apologies, and a recorded message. I was blind, Elena. Blind to your pain, to our future. I'm building something now, not just for me, for us, if you'll let me prove it. Marcus orchestrated the meeting himself. He chose the park where Alex and Elena had married years ago, benches still the same, trees taller. He arrived first with Elena, then texted Alex to come. When Alex stepped onto the grass, seeing them both waiting, his heart hammered. Marcus spoke first, voice steady. This isn't a competition. It's about what's right for her and the baby. He shook Alex's hand firmly, eyes conveying respect, then walked away to give them space. They talked for hours under the old oak. Elena admitted her fear of poverty, of repeating cycles. Alex owned every failure, working too much, listening too little, letting pride win. I thought providing meant money, he said, voice raw, but you needed me present. I'm here now, fully. Sudden sharp pains gripped Elena's side. She gasped, clutching her belly. False labor, but terrifying. Alex didn't hesitate. He scooped her up gently, carried her to his truck, and sped to the hospital, one hand on the wheel, the other holding hers tight. In the delivery room, monitors beeping, doctors confirming it was just Braxton Hicks. Alex never let go. He whispered encouragements, wiped her tears, let her squeeze his hand until it bruised. Marcus arrived later, standing back with quiet support. Hearing the baby's strong heartbeat through the monitor, Alex broke completely, tears streaming as he pressed his forehead to Elena's. I'm never leaving again, he promised. She believed him. Tabloids shifted when old court documents surfaced, proving no overlap, no cheating, just two people lost in timing and fear. Public sympathy turned to Alex, the man fighting for his family. His detailing business exploded with bookings, bolstered quietly by an anonymous investor who turned out to be Marcus redirecting opportunities his way. Marcus filed for divorce amicably, no fight over assets. He met Alex one last time over coffee. Love isn't possession, he said, sliding over papers for a generous trust fund for the child. Take care of them better than I could. They shook hands, two men who loved the same woman differently, finding mutual respect. Elena moved into a modest house Alex bought with his earnings. Nothing lavish, but warm, filled with laughter and second chances. They rebuilt slowly, late-night talks on the porch, recreating simple dates, his hands on her belly feeling every kick. When real labor came weeks later, another storm raging outside, Alex coached her through every contraction, cutting the cord as their daughter cried her first breath. They named her Rain, a reminder of how it all began and renewed. Years later, the three of them, Alex, Elena, little Rain, walked that same park path in light drizzle. Alex held an umbrella over his girls, grinning as Rain splashed puddles on purpose. Elena leaned into him, whispering, "Best mud splash ever." He kissed her temple, heart full. From heartbreak to this, redemption earned, love reclaimed, family whole.